Hello, YouTube people. It should come as no surprise that I've discovered that there are people on YouTube that are showing their book collections, and then I noticed Michael Moorcock books, and I've been reading Michael Moorcock since I was probably a preteen. But so I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've picked up over the years. That I've read most of these, and I have to say I've read most of these 40 plus years ago, many in the 70s. So I'm not going to have great perfect memory about a lot of them, but there are a few series like the one I'm about to show you I read a few times. I liked so much. And the first one I'm going to start out with is the Dancers at the End of Time series. And this is a hardbound of An Alien Heat, followed by The Hollow Lands, and The End of All Songs. So they were a big favorite, and I started with this paperback with all three. Actually, I think I read them in the library before I owned them, and I wanted to read them again so much I bought this. Ended up with some individual copies like this on whatever it's on Avon, The End of All Songs, another End of All Songs, The Hollowlands, and the one we don't talk about very much, A Messiah at the End of Time, which is story number 4. So the Dancers at the End of Time is a series about people that are in a closed loop at the end of time itself. The Earth is going to be destroyed, and then they have all these magical powers, etc., etc. Anyway, it's a great stories. I guess if you're 13 and if I reread them now, they're probably still good, so I shouldn't laugh at it. The other ones I was picking up at the time was Elric. Now, these aren't in any particular order, but I got some like oddball stuff, like not oddballs, but older publications: The Dreaming City, The Sleeping Sorceress, Elric of Melniboné, Stormbringer. Oh, this got mixed in. I put this in with the Elrics. Legends from the End of Time. I think that's the 4th or the 5th book from this series. Dancers at the End of Time, book 4. Oh, this is book 4. The other one was, The Messiah, was book 5, I believe. Sorry, got them out of order. Here's The Stealer of Souls. I think it's like a collected short stories, Elric, before it became a book series. I don't really remember. Stealer of Souls. Elric at the End of Time. By the way, most of these, like the Elric books and some of the other series I'm going to show you, they're well, I remember what it is. The Eternal Champions. These are the Eternal Champions series. And the Bane of the Black Sword. One Daw. Got a lot of Daw in here. Sailor on the Seas of Fate. This one got a little... when it was stored, something got stuck to it. The Fortress of the Pearl, which is a nice embossed whatever book. Weird of the White Wolf, and The Vanishing Tower. I also have the Elric omnibus editions. When I get to those, we'll talk about that. Another part of the Eternal Champion series is the Chronicles of Corum. This is 3 the first three Corum books in one paperback. The Swords trilogy is the second three of the Chronicles of Corum, and then I have some oddball, single book versions, older version. The King of the Swords, the Queen of the Swords, and the Oak and the Ram. That's the Corum. And then we have, once again, the Eternal Champion. We have Count Brass, the Champion of Garathorm, and the Quest for Tanelorn. These are all the three Count Brass books. I'm not sure if there's another. And by the way, I've read almost every one of these books. There's a couple that I haven't read, and I'll probably explain why when I get to them. So, let's see. This is the Rune Staff. Let's see if I get. It's the fourth and final volume of the history of the Rune Staff. So let me see. Third, second, the Jewel in the Skull. So we have, these are the dolls, the doll paperback. The Rune Staff, I believe it's 4 books. The Jewel in the Skull, the Mad God's Amulet, another Mad God's Amulet. Some of these I have more than one. They're different imprint or something different about them. I also, Sword of the Dawn, the Rune Staff. Here's an older edition, the Jewel in the Skull. The Secret of the Rune, another old one, Secret of the Rune Staff. These were more recent. I didn't get all 4. The Jewel in the Skull. Sword of the Dawn. And the Rune Staff. So I don't know what happened. Maybe one of those books got lost. But anyway, that's all the Rune Staff books. And as a teenager, possibly my very favorite was the Cornelius Chronicles. I believe this is 4 books. I think towards the end of this, the writing style got a little too funky for my taste, but I did get through the whole thing. Loved the first 3. Saw the movie based on one of the books. And so this is the first Cornelius Chronicles, Jerry Cornelius, sorry. So I believe he is, I don't know if he's, I think the people in this book, they're stuck in the 20th century. Like they're kind of time travelers, but they're all over, the decades in the 20th century. Here is the Cornelius Chronicles Volume 2, which has 2 books, 2 novels, complete in 1 volume. The Continuing Adventures of Jerry Cornelius. First time in paperback. The Cornelius Chronicles Volume 3. That's 2 books in 1. And The Lives and Times of Jerry Cornelius. Let's see if I read that. Probably did. Okay. And then, of course, here's an oddball because they have the Black Corridor paired up in this, I guess they're trade size paperback. The Adventures of Una Person and Catherine Cornelius. 2 complete novels. And I believe the Una person, Catherine Cornelius, is there's a tie-in to um, Jerry Cornelius books. But I believe the Black Corridor is a standalone. I believe here's a bunch of I got a whole bunch of eyeballs. This is the best SF stories from New Worlds, edited by Michael Moorcock. Now, I have a memory, a bad memory from when I was very, very young, probably a preschooler, and obviously long before I could read. I saw this book on top of the refrigerator. I climbed a lot in the kitchen in my house that I lived in, and I got nightmares over this scary monster on the cover. Very young, but anyway, it's edited by Michael Moorcock. This is the Sundered Worlds by Michael Moorcock. Here's a collection selected by John Carnell, which I think is a pseudonym for Michael Moorcock. I'm not sure, but it's got a bunch of Brian Aldiss, don't recognize it, Michael Moorcock short stories in this New Worlds. The Ice Schooner, not so old. This is probably old. Some of these older paperback covers are pretty cool. The Ice Schooner, another one off The Winds of Limbo, and here's a standalone paperback of The Black Corridor. Here is The Time Dweller, Time Out of Mind, it says on the back. And here's a different cover. I just thought this was too cool, of The Time Dweller. I had to pick this up. So I got slightly different editions of Behold the Man. I think that's a short story in one of those short story books. Behold the Man, which is I think it's a standalone. Dying for Tomorrow. The Rituals of Infinity. The Twilight Man. Definitely older art cover. Time Dweller. Here is The Time Dweller. Not so old, but it's a doll. Probably 70s, maybe 80s. And here is a series. I think it's the Eternal Champion series. Well, A Tale of the Eternal Champion. And I think these were like probably early to mid 80s releases. The Dragon and the Sword. The City in the Autumn Stars. And I, of course, read them all. And then, of course, there are the legendary, where Michael Moorcock redid the Edgar Rice Burroughs Mars trilogy, or whatever it is. The Warriors of Mars. The Masters of the Pit. These are like early 60s. He was writing as Edward P. Bradbury, The Lord of the Spiders, and The City of the Beasts. What a cool cover that is. The Steel Sar. Breakfast in the Ruins. The Land Leviathan. And you can't finish that up I believe the Land Leviathan is connected to the Warlord of the Air. And the Warlord of the Air, a different, slightly different cover, slightly different release. The Warlord of the Air. And here is the doll, the Warlord of the Air. Now, this one has a special meaning for me. The Time of the Hawk Lords, which shows credit as written by Michael Moorcock and Michael Butterworth. However, I have come to understand that Michael Butterworth wrote this based on a Moorcock idea. And I found this as a teen. I believe this came out in '76 at the grocery store. They used to have a paperback book section, and since I was already a big Moorcock reader at the time, I grabbed it, and it's about the story of this band called Hawkwind, and so that summer on my birthday, I for a birthday present, my parents were letting me buy a record. And when I was flipping through the alphabet in the aisles, I came across Hawkwind, and I was like stunned. Oh, it's a real band. Oh, he wrote about a real band. Wow. Which started a lifelong interest in Hawkwind, which I have, if you see behind me, very large Hawkwind record collection that I listen to. And it's funny, I just noticed that they have ads in some of these books for cigarettes. Here's Newport and Kent. Cigarette ads in the middle of it. Imagine this. Kids reading this. For shame. For shame. Getting cigarette ads. No wonder I started smoking. I believe this one I have not read yet. Silverheart, Michael Moorcock, and Storm Constantine. That came in, I forget like how many years ago. Not that long ago, up to 10 years ago, and I just never got around to reading it. It's probably good, I don't know. The Silver Warriors. The Blood Red Game. It says, Renark was controlled by the force that he could only partially comprehend. That's pretty frightening, isn't it? So I did read that. The Warhound and the World's Pain. The Golden Barge. And I'm going to... The Coming of the Terraphiles. I got this. It's like, I think, the newest Michael Moorcock book I have, and he wrote a Doctor Who, like, outside the TV series episode story. And I have to say, he must have been getting paid by the letter, because it was, for a couple hundred pages, it was Yawnsville. They were stuck in the spaceship for, like, seemed to be like 3 ice ages, and I was dying to finish it. So I didn't really enjoy this very much. But what are you going to do? You can't win them all. This is Mike Moorcock, Blood, a Southern Fantasy. Trade size paperback. And another trade size paperback. Gloriana. And we're getting into the good stuff. And speaking of the Time of the Hawk Lords that wasn't written by Michael Moorcock, these were the Time of the Hawk Lords and Queens of Deliria. I believe these were released in like a deluxe CD, like a Hawkwind CD box set by Michael Butterworth, but they're like 90s reprints. So even though they're not Michael Moorcock, I kind of keep them in with the Moorcock stuff because of the connection. Okay, so the 30th anniversary edition of Behold the Man. which is not signed, or is it signed? I don't really care. Behold the Man hardback. I don't have that many hardbacks, Moorcock hardbacks, but here's one of them, and I showed you some at the beginning. This is Michael Moorcock. Death is no obstacle. And I think, I'm not sure, but this one might have also come with one of the deluxe CD, like Hawkwind CD sets. Death is no obstacle. And I think that's the one that's going for bucks on eBay. The Warhound and the World's Pain in hardbound. I really enjoy that. And so I do have the Elric Omnibus editions. They're like 3-4 books in each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4. The Omnibus, I didn't get, I think there's a third one or maybe more, but they're hardbacks, and sometimes these are going for bucks on eBay. Hardback, I don't know where the hell I found this. The Nomad of Time, a hardback version of this. Nomad of Time. I know I read it. I have no memory of it though. It's like I believe it's a one-off. Mother London was at the time his 100th book or something. I picked this up at probably the first. I think it's the first hardback of Moorcock I got when it was released. Mother London. So it's a long one. It's over 500 pages. And Laughter of Carthage. The Laughter of Carthage. This is another hardback. And I believe this might have once been, a library edition, because it's got the protective cover, Laughter of Carthage. That's it for the books, although it's interesting the connection that I discover from Moorcock to Hawkwind, but because of Hawkwind, he is on at least one of the Warriors at the Edge of Time record, mid-70s. I also have Moorcock records, and I have 45 7-inch records, a whole bunch of CDs. But this is The End of All Songs. I think this was put out last year. So I showed you the books earlier, and then this is based on The Hollow Lands on pink vinyl, The Hollow Lands. And this, I don't believe this is based on a book, because this is the Deep Fix, live at the Terminal Cafe. And this is the one from the mid-70s, the New World's Fair, Mike Moorcock and the Deep Fix. So it kind of went round in circles. I was into Moorcock, discovered Hawkwind, and through Hawkwind discovered Moorcock's music. So great stuff, love it to death, listen to it all the time. I do from time to time read Michael Moorcock. I'm not quite as much as when I was 15 or 13 or what have you. But anyway, I hope you enjoy seeing this pile of, I'm just checking to see if I forgot anything. I've got a lot of oddballs in boxes, like the magazines he edited. I don't, it would take hours to find this stuff. But that's it for my Michael Moorcock book collection. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like, somewhere down, right there, right? And subscribe, it's somewhere down there too. And come back for more. Not more of this, because I'm not going to be buying many more Michael Moorcock books. But thanks for watching.